Buongiorno.
Buongiorno, we are live. Okay, looks like stream was deleted from Facebook. Go live anyway. Okay, I don't know if we can go live. I have to ask Chris. Chris, can you just check the Facebook page because it says that we are not live? Thank you. Yeah, something because we removed the whatever. We had some issues. So good morning, everyone, and good morning, Simone. Good afternoon,
morning.
actually.
Yeah, it's my afternoon. It's my 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm in the future.
Buonasera. Allora, buonasera. Did you know that I speak Italian?
Yeah, see, I did. Yeah.
Oh,
You
okay.
speak better Italian than me, so I don't think we should go down that road.
No, I
I'll
don't
be
think
stumbling.
so. I don't think so at this moment because I moved back in like 2026 or something like that. So it's been almost 20 years. But I do my best when I am in Italy. So there.
Yeah. That's all we can do, Nikolett, is do our best.
Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us this morning. I wanted to invite you for another conversation. We already had one about business like a year ago, if I remember well. And I would like to ask you about a couple of things. One thing is that I want to know is what is business for you? Because many times I heard you saying that if you have blood running through your veins, you are in business. And can you just say more? What does that mean for you?
Yeah. Well, I think first of all, I've never had an adversity to business. And even the word, I mean, my book, Joy of Business, is translated into, I think, 18 languages now. And every language, they get this confusion of how joy of business sort of sits together. But I think we grow up and we have a point of view about what business is. So people have a resistance to it. And I've never had a resistance to it. In my world, I always thought it was very creative and it was something that was malleable. So when you have a business or you're in business, it's like that's how you get to create a change in the world. Now, I will say my point of view about business has changed a lot over the years because to begin with, I thought business was just all about creation. That's what I desired. I would like business just to be about creation so I can make a change in the world. And I ignored money big time. Like I didn't pay attention to the finances and I just wanted business to be all about creation. Now, years pass and it's like after my father's amazing contribution, he sort of taught me that, Simone, you've got to look at the finances as well. So for me, business is looking at all aspects of it and really looking at, it's like, what would you like to create in the world? What would you like to choose with the business you're choosing, right? And as I say, if you have blood running through your veins, you're in business. I say that as a joke so that people don't do this place of switching off, because this reality always says, oh, I hope you get to have some time off. Oh, I hope you get to have a holiday. Did you get to have some quiet time on the weekend? And I'm always like, time off from what? Like, I'm facilitating consciousness here and I love it. And I do. It's like I might go for a hike in the middle of the day or, I get to go see different places around the world. But business is not separate to my life for me. I wake up in the morning. I'm super creative in the morning. Like you've probably got like the last hour of me being creative at the moment. It's like 4:10 in the afternoon. But I've been up since 5 o'clock and I'm super creative in the morning. But for me, it's like, even as I'm making my coffee, I'm like, okay, where is my energy required today? That's being in question. And it could be calling someone. It could be something to do with the business. It could be something to do with my neighbor, anything. Like your whole life is your business. So how are you running your life? Are you concluding it? Are you making it small and finite? Or are you choosing something different? Are you truly choosing what is true for you and choosing the greatest possibility you could choose today?
So this morning we are talking about how to create a business that changes the world. And honestly, this idea somehow came from you because I was always so obsessed listening to you when you're talking about business. Like this is like your place where you just feel alive and then excited. And it's been how many years now that you're facilitating consciousness?
I've been working with Access Consciousness for 23 years, but I will say before that, I had a business called Good Vibes for You. And that whole business was created to inspire people and empower people. And that's how I met Gary and Dane. And I had that business at an expo and they were there. And apparently they told me years later that Gary walked around and he looked at all the stuff in my stand and he went, I want to meet this woman. Who is this person? Because what I was creating was sort of on the path, on the road to that. So I'd say from about 15, 16 years of age, I knew I wanted to create something different. I knew I was different. And so many people, that I spoke to, my friends, were looking at, getting married and having kids. Nothing wrong with getting married and having kids, okay? But getting married, having kids, going to college, And I was like, I need to explore the world and I need to create something different. I would like to create something different that allows people to wake up, like you can inspire them, that enthusiasm. So that's what I kept following, and that's what I kept trusting and kept following that energy of wherever that took me. So I think that was the initial spark of me actually desiring to create, having the joy of business and creating business in the world.
Yeah.
You have that too, though, Nikolett. I see you talk about stuff, and it's like you get so excited and enthused. It's fun.
Thank you. It's you inspired me so much, honestly, about that, because so I'm not sure if I shared that with you, but so when I was married and I moved back from San Francisco, and I came back with nothing. Like I had like $700 on my bank account, and I needed to rent a place and then start my life again, like from scratch. And before that, I used to be a teacher at the hair school. So I was like, okay, I can go back there so I can make some money and then figure out my life. But I was always like, even after my accident, I created like short videos to YouTube, just talk about what's going on with me. I was like driving to the hospital, hey guys, this is what's going on. And like, I just enjoyed that. And when I came back, I was like, because so when I was married and I was in the US, my ex-husband used to tell me all the time, "It's like, hey, Nikolett, start, like, do this. You love this stuff." Like, I already took 2 classes, foundation classes. And he's like, just start, just start, just start. But I felt like the pressure, and I did not have that, the door open when you just walk in and then, yes.
Yeah.
But then when I moved back and I was like, oh, now I know what to talk about. And I started to create videos and I talked about my divorce, not like the details of it, but just like what I am going through and how I am managing all of this change for myself. And that was the start. But like really early on, I realized I don't want to talk about my divorce. This is so boring to me. And it's just like, I'm not enjoying it. So why would I do that? And so somehow that started to change for me. And what was interesting that like I got the enthusiasm. And my next question would be to you is like, so many people, when they start their businesses, they are alone. They feel alone. And what I am seeing with many people, they are asking like, why are you so enthusiastic all the time? It's like so interesting. I talk to you and I feel better. It's like there is something. What is that? And I always say like it's a choice you make. Like I heard from you. You said one day you are like every morning you wake up and you got to choose. You choose your life. You choose to be enthusiastic. You choose to be happy. All of that. And so what would you say about this? When people have an idea, they want to start, and they feel alone because obviously they don't have a team yet, and they have to figure out everything on their own. Like because many people get off track really quickly when they feel alone and they don't know how to, how to be excited every day. And yeah.
Yeah, look, I mean, I would really start with like ask yourself a question and go, truth, am I actually alone? Because you're not. It's like, you're an infinite being, and an infinite being isn't alone. You are surrounded by so much. And if you have a trust of you and you trust the universe, it's like, okay, what else is possible? Because the one thing I would say is don't try and put it into this linear scale. So you go, oh, okay, I need to start. And then I need to do this in order to be able to hire someone. What if you chatted to someone and you hired someone that day? And do you need to hire someone? But it could be maybe you're paying them a commission of something, or maybe you could be doing anything. You could be like cooking them a meal once a week. If you don't, like, people go to, I don't have the money. Well, if you require to have more people contribute to you, then what else could you create with them? Like, what contribution could you be to them as they contribute to you? But I think one of the biggest lies we tell ourselves is that we are alone. It's like, how much are you using that as a justification to not start? Like, what if you just started? And when I say just start, it's like, I mean, I remember the days when it used to be, oh, I can't start because I need a business card, right? You need a business card. And then it came to, oh, I can't start. I need to get my website first. So then you need a website and you need a business card before you can start a business. That's not the beginning of a business. And I know in Access, it's really funny. One of the girls that we work with, we have this running joke because we'll have this class and it's got, every project and every business to me has a heartbeat. Here's how you start. Stop and listen for the heartbeat. Listen for that heartbeat, because it might just be like a boom, but it could be louder. Where is that coming from? And follow that heartbeat of the business, of the project. And so many people say to her, oh, we need the graphics. And it's like, graphics don't create a class. Do they contribute to it? Yes. Does a website contribute to it? Yes. Does a business card, or nowadays it's like, I don't know, a QR code or something. It's like, I don't know, you can put your phones together and swap information. There's so many different ways to do something. But what are you currently using as your reason and justification for not starting? Like, what if you just started, whatever that is? And like I said, listen for the heartbeat. Today I had, I've been doing a class all morning on getting out of debt joyfully. And then I had a few different things on, and I came home and I went, I could so often just go, like, into the next thing, boom, 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 boom. And I went, oh, I actually require something different. And I went and sat in my backyard, and I've got the ocean there. I listened to the ocean, the birds and the trees. And I had a late breakfast and sat there on my, my back deck and just listened to everything. And I was like, God, you know what? The demand I'm making for myself today is not to control anything. So I was really destroying and uncreating everything that I decided I was yesterday, and running this process that we have in Access about, being out of control. I was like, I would like more. And I literally was there just going, I would like more. What else is possible? What else is available to me? And one of the things I got to for myself today was, I haven't trusted myself and the universe to the extent that I know I can. But you can't trust yourself and the universe when you're trying to get something right, or when you're trying to control something. So it's like, anywhere that you're trying to control a business or control what shows up, rather than going, okay, let's just go. Like, let's go. What happens if we stumble and fall? Well, good question. What happens when you stumble and fall? What are you going to choose? Are you going to, get back up and brush your knees off and be like, have a little giggle or laugh at yourself and then move on? Or are you going to use that as the place where you quit, as the place where you stop? It's up to you. And for me, business is so malleable, and you can change it. Every day is different. Like, it literally is different. So every day is different. Every choice can be different. And it's like, what else could you choose today that you weren't willing to choose yesterday? You didn't even realize or acknowledge that it was available yesterday, but now you know. And it's like, let's go. What is that you can reach for?
Wow. I really like when you talk about control. I'm getting better. But it's interesting, because when Christy and Chris arrived, I had to acknowledge myself that was my choice, and I created them and they created me, of course. But they are always, when we have conversation, the three of us, they are like so grateful for me that I let them do whatever they do. And I had this trust with them. And I felt like I don't have to control things anymore. And I was able to let that go. And then they got the control. So they were controlling everything. And like, it was just like so interesting. But as I knew that I have to let them go through the journey that I did before.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing them, like, now we are at the point with the business where they're like, it's not working anymore. I can't do this. Like, I can't just work all day from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. It's not working. My body's requiring something else. And as you just said, your example is like sometimes, and that was one of my favorite tool. I was on a workshop with you, a free workshop, when Joy of Business facilitators shared their favorite tools. And I remember someone said, if you have a call, just go for a walk, just leave everything behind, go for a walk, go into nature. And I was like, what? No, I'm working. I can't just go. And I don't know if I told you this story. So I heard that conversation, and I was home, always sitting at my desk and like trying to, okay, what to do? What kind of bars class? Where? Okay, let's go to the island, the Margaret Island on the Danube. No, okay, let's do an ugly sweater bars class. Or let's do, and I was just like trying to figure this out, make it work. Why people don't come to my class? I don't understand. And I had no registrations. And one day I remember I was sitting home, it was spring, and I was like, okay, I will ask my business. This is just so silly, but I will ask my business. Business, what should I do? And I there was a coffee shop on the corner, and like, go to the coffee shop. I'm like, no way I'm going to the coffee shop. Here, what I can do, not in the coffee shop, here. It's like, okay, I was keep working, but nothing was falling. Like, when nothing is working. And I was like, okay, business, what to do? Go to the coffee shop. I'm like, this is so silly. Okay, I'm going to the coffee shop. So I went to the coffee shop, sat down, and I love to journal and write things down. And I was like writing, and I'm like, okay, business, tell me what people want. I don't know anymore. And I got to be happy. Okay, I wrote down to be happy. And I'm like, okay, what else they want? And so as I was asking questions, sitting there, giving myself some space, and also to my business, I wrote down a whole 3 month program called Happiness Academy, and we did 3 months. And the first month was just like basics, and then the next month relationships, and the third month was like money and future. And I went back home. I did a post on Facebook, like, hey guys, I have a really good idea. Stay tuned. I'm going to come back to you in like a couple of days and sharing all the details. And so in 3 days, I created the landing page and all the registration and everything. And that was the first thing which really get my business off the ground. When I did something different, I was listening. And honestly, this is what I see. This is my biggest superpower, to reach people who don't even know what is access consciousness or what's the bars. And they are brand new. And we just had a 10-day program. We had 8,000 people in it. And we were just like, this one like 3,500-ish, 4,000. But we had another one, the same one, just like a couple months before. We had 5,000 people in that one in January. And if I wouldn't choose to go to the coffee shop, I would never write this down. I might never start to do online courses or, these kind of things. And I would never get here. And it's just so amazing. So amazing.
And can I just say, it's like that's a fabulous story, Nikolett. And I love that you went to the coffee shop. Because if you look at your life and you chose not to go to the coffee shop and you chose to go, no, I'm going to ask the business, like asking the business is different enough as it is, but you've got to stay in your office. You've got to do work in your office. You've just limited what can show up. Like, where would your business be today? Whereas, and people go, oh, you're, skiving off. It's like you're being lazy, you're whatever. And it's like, no, I'm actually following the energy. I'm asking a question. Where is my energy required today? Usually your energy is not required in all the places that you think you have to control. Breaking news. It's like usually it's somewhere entirely different. And it's like you said, like, when the people that you work with are saying, I can't do this anymore from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. at night. Yeah, it's like, ask your body. Your body is included in everything that you choose. It's like, what does your body want to choose with the business? Like, we think the busier we get, that more is going to show up. It's not true.
No.
The more present you get, more shows up.
More present you get, more shows up. Whoa. Can you say more about that?
Yeah, if you're totally present in the moment, even like the way I describe my day to day. And so when I got home, because because I had a Cairo session, right? So I got home and I was just so space. And I went, okay, I'm going to go have a late breakfast. I'm going to go sit outside. Now, what I could have done is open up my computer, sat there eating breakfast at my kitchen, eating breakfast, checking out my, my Skype, my WhatsApp, my emails, and started you've got a zillion things to work on. You never actually complete everything, right? So give up that fantasy, because that is a fantasy in order to always be in judgment of yourself. So there's a million things that I could be working on, right? So, but I didn't. I went, no, I required to go outside and just listen to the ocean and listen to the birds and listen to all of this. And so I was sitting there, eating my breakfast. And then I have this thread with Gary and Dane text, and he said, hey, can we talk after the SOP? And I was like, yeah. And I just wrote back something like, I'm changing. Like, my life is changing. I am transforming big time, and I would like more. And Dane wrote, I'd like more too. And he goes, that's what I want to talk about. And then we started texting each other about that. And he's doing an SOP in Mexico at the moment. And, it starts like ridiculous hours for me. So I'm sort of delayed listening to it. And just before I came on here, I was listening to day one, and there's this conversation he has, and he's talking about trusting the universe. I know he said that before, Nikolett, but because it's in my world and I heard him say it today in such a different way, I was like, yeah, that's it. I'm asking for more, and I'm asking to trust the universe. I'm asking questions. Why would I not listen and trust the universe to show me what it is that I'm asking for and more? I've created so much. I am so proud of everything that I've created, and I have a hell of a lot of fun, like so much more fun than so many people I know, and so much more joy and so much more ease. And you know what? I'd like more. I'd like more. What else? What else is available? But if I hadn't taken myself out there, then even that little interaction that Dane and I had might not have occurred. And there's an energy, I know he started contributing to me and I started contributing to him. It was just like, that's the way it works. But that was a space. But how often would you go, oh, I've got stuff to do. I can't go outside and sit there for 20 minutes and just listen to the goddamn ocean, Only hippies do that or something. You're like, no, if you're present, you're choosing what actually works for you at that moment. And for me, it was receiving from the ocean, receiving from the birds, the trees in my backyard. And I sat there and I looked out and I was like, I'm so lucky to have this backyard. It's such a gift. Like, nature is such a gift. But that's being present in the moment. You have no idea what's going to show up next.
I like what you said, because my life was like, since I started in 2019, my life was just like about business. And I realized at some point I was just so unhappy with my body. Like, I gained weight and I just didn't work the way I wanted to. And then at some point I was like, I just can't do this anymore. This is just killing me and my body. And actually, this is not what I desire to create in my life. So that's when I started to just build like a team. And also I realized early on, it's not fun for me just create for myself. And I'm always more excited to create with others and just create together.
I know you have a generosity of spirit that I so admire, and I'm very grateful for it. Like, you have done numerous things for me in, opening up doors for me. That is a true generosity of spirit. And I'm grateful for that. Like, thank you. And the one thing I know is when you have that generosity of spirit, the universe, gives you at least 20 times more. It really does.
Wow. Thank you. Yeah, I actually, I don't know if I told you, I never been this way, meaning I grew up in a family that, so my birthday is really close from Christmas to Christmas. And I always been told when I was a child that my Christmas present is my birthday present. My birthday present is my Christmas present. And I was like so angry. And I was like, that's not okay. All of my other sisters, they get other presents because they have birthday on, I don't know, May and summertime.
Yeah.
And, when I grew up, I realized that I have so, like, my family is so big. I have 5 siblings, and my parents divorced, and I have a good relationship all of with their ex-husbands and wives and whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, every single day we have a birthday or something. And it was me. I'm like, oh, I hate this. I need to buy gift and presents, and like can't even spend my own money on myself because all of these stupid gifts. And at one day, I was like, I might was listening to you, something like money things, because I heard you talk about money a lot, that was your thing that you avoided the most, like changing,
Yeah.
like using the tools for the money,
Yeah.
and changing the money situation. And it was just me. I changed everything but the money. And one day I was like, I can live like this. Like, what is my reality with this? And I started to change this by, when I was in, like, I don't know, in a gift store or somewhere traveling, I saw something and I was thinking of someone. I
Mm-hmm.
bought it. I brought it home. I didn't give it to them. And I was waiting until their birthday or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized how much joy it created in my world. And it was just so true for me. Like, oh, I'm a true gifter. I like to gift people. Like, that was not even true for me, what I was doing
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
And I started to just gift people with everything, and not just for birthday and just like for an occasion, but like when I felt like there was something, and it created so much for me, because seeing people, and actually sometimes I gifted people with things that they would never be willing to afford or choose
Mm.
for themselves, and seeing changing their reality with, just by gifting them with something that they would never choose and never buy for themselves.
Yeah.
It was just such a gift.
Changing their lives.
Yeah. Um, so I had other questions also. So I don't know if you have some time,
Sure.
like the time. Okay, cool. So I wanted to talk to you about how can we create a business that would change the world, because so many people, when we talk about this, people go into their heads and think, oh, I have to create a huge business or a huge following. And if I'm not having a huge following, I'm not changing the world. But it turned out for me not to be true, honestly.
Yeah.
One thing is, we don't have a huge following here, but would be basically half of our following coming to our classes, which is insane. And when we start to work with different companies, like, let's say, Facebook ads or Google ads, people are so shocked that we have, like, the rate
The
of
opening rate and things
the
like the click.
opening
Yeah.
rate
Yeah. Same as
is just
ours. Yeah.
so high. Everyone is like, what do you guys do?
Yeah.
So, and I know for myself that creating something that changes the world doesn't have to be huge or big following. So what does it look like for you? And yeah, just start with that and then see where we go.
So I think and I think you're totally correct. It's like, what if it's a point of view, and what if it's how you be in the world? And a few scenarios. Yeah, I know. Social media. It's like, I mean, I go on social media, and to be honest, it's like it's Instagram is one of those places that sometimes I get just lost in the reels. But mine's all about recipes. Like maybe health and fitness or something, or comedians. It's like that's sort of what pops up in my feed, and I do get lost in it, and I actually enjoy it. Like, I enjoy that switch off. But going to that place of like how many followers you have is insane. And I'm with you. It's like when we get adverts and things like that and people click on them, the opening rate is huge. And also, I stopped doing adverts because I was like, I know what I do when I see an advert. I go over it, and I was like, well, how else can we engage with the world? So I think looking at your social media stuff and how many followers and likes and stuff like that you have is not a kind way to judge, if you are successful. I have 2 gardeners that are just amazing, right? And it's like what they be in my backyard, and I've got some other property that they work on as well, and I've seen what they've done in other places. What they be with that changes the world. I've just did a podcast with them. It's not out yet. It's out at the end of this month. And listening to them and the way they talk and building these food forests, right? And the information that they have, even that to me is changing the world. My whole podcasts in April are all about people that I consider are making an impact on the planet by their choices with the earth, right? So for me, but that's not a huge amount of followers. That's all that is. There's a guy that I follow on Instagram. He's a photographer, amazing photographer, like just most unique photos that I've seen. He recently just shut down his account and he started another one, and he literally said, please don't follow me if it's, he said, I'm not looking for, he had like 40 or 50,000 followers. He said, I'm not looking for the amount of people. He said, I'm looking for the engagement. He goes, I want to discover the world and explore the world. And if you want to engage with me, then follow me. But don't just follow me because, you don't want to engage. And I think that engagement with the world is very lost. I was talking to someone today who's, I think, a bit older than me, and we were talking about old school. We went, and I said, you know what? We've got to remember that when we grew up, we didn't have mobile phones, and then when we got a mobile phone, it just made phone calls. That's all it did. It didn't do anything else, And nowadays, the amount of times that I'm guilty of it, you're sitting there and you go, oh, you're waiting on something, and it's like 3-minute wait. What do? You go like this and you start looking through something, answering something, or you go to look at the weather and all of a sudden you're like, oh, somebody's texted me and I've got to answer that WhatsApp. And you just keep doing that. It's like, to me, that's creating that busyness and not necessarily that success that you could be choosing. It's like, what if changing the world with and through and as your business is the energy that you be with it? Like somebody making jewelry could be making jewelry, and it's just that jewelry that you put on and you're like, wow, this just changed my whole entire being and my body. That's changing the world. If you are inspiring someone through what you choose, to me, that's changing the world. It doesn't have to look a certain way. And we're all different. We all have a different capacity. So what is the capacity that you have and the ability that you have that you're not currently choosing, that if you did choose it could change everything? Like there's a shop down the road in Coolum. It's called New Earth Cafe, and it's plant-based cafe. I eat meat. I love meat, but I love their food, And man, she cooks these curries, and they're just like, they're divine. But you can tell that every ingredient and every spice and the way she's been with this meal is just so nurturing. And that's a cafe in here in the Sunshine Coast in Australia, but it bleeds out to everybody else. And it's like, and you have no idea who it is that you're like tapping on the shoulder, who you're whispering to, who you are inspiring, who you are creating this enthusiasm in them in the day. Like we are being watched. We all are. People watch each other all the time. And it's like, what inspiration could you be today for somebody? What if it's not as big a deal as you think it is? It's how you be in the world today and what you choose to be in your business.
Wow, thank you. We have a big news because we had a project together. I mean, it was my project. So I recorded your book, Joy of Business, in Hungarian, and it's already out there. You guys can go and listen. So we're going to put in the comments below the link to the book. It's in on Audible. Can we just like a quick conversation about your book? Like, what is that book about? Because I heard you talking about, it makes no sense in Hungarian, right? Like Joy of Business. And you said so many times, it doesn't make sense in English either. So can you say more like, why is Joy of Business, and why did you wrote this book, and how you came up with the whole thing?
Yeah. Look, it's a conversation I had with Gary Douglas many, many years ago, the founder of Access Consciousness. And we were talking about something in particular. And I was asking him for help because I went, I don't get it. I don't get why this person is choosing this. And he said, what do you mean? And I went, well, this is business. And I said, and she's choosing this. And it doesn't make any sense because there's no joy in that. And he went, what are you talking about? And I went, well, business is joyful. And he stood there and looked at me and he went, no, it's not. And I went, yes, it is. And he went, no, it's not. And that back and forth, because I just couldn't get what he was saying, but he couldn't get what I was saying. And I went, no, I said, you choose business because it's joyful. And he went, Simone, he went, no, he said, not in this reality. I will never forget where I was standing. It was in Perth, Western Australia, outside this venue. And I looked at him and I was like, what are you talking about? And he said, Simone, in this reality, people don't do business for the joy of it. And I went, why would you do it? And he was like, he said, you need to do classes on this. And for me, immediately I went, oh, I'm not going to do classes. How boring. I couldn't think of anything worse. I was like, I just want to run businesses. I just want to create businesses, you know. And so it took me a little moment because there was no question in that. That was all about conclusion. And I started doing a couple of classes. And I started and I would, you know, sit there and I had like 6 or 8 people in a semicircle around me, you know, for an hour and a half. And we would talk about their businesses. They would ask me questions and, you know, I would interact and engage and ask them a question. And for me, Nikolett, what I was talking about, I seriously thought everybody functioned like that and everybody knew it. And then afterwards, I'd have people come up and they're like, I could just tell like their gratitude in their eyes and looking at me, they were like, thank you so much. You've just changed everything for me. And I was like, really? I was like, but we only spoke about this, this, and this. And I realized that how I was being in the world was different. And I thought everybody else functioned that way. So then I kept doing more and more classes. And eventually from Joy Business book is actually created from a lot of the workshops and everything that I did. And we took the material from that and started to piece it together. I had an editor that helped me. And there's a lot of, I guess, like home play and questions in there, like some really good pragmatic tools that you can use to cover all areas, like even the energies that are required to be in business, you know, or if you're hiring staff, or, you know, how to, you know, follow through with a deal, or, but like there's so many different stories in there as well. Stories about what I did, what I chose. And I definitely have stumbled and fallen. Like I have made some, you know, choices, and they're not bad choices because I think every choice you gain awareness. I've made a lot of choices that I went, oh, okay, now what can I choose? But they are the best moments when you gain that much awareness and you get to choose something different. So I am very grateful for that book. And there are so many people all around the world who I've signed books for, and they're like all dog-eared or they've got Post-it notes on them. And it just makes me smile because I'm like, wow, I can put this book together and that can create a change in the world. That makes me very, very happy. And to me, that's about changing the world. So, and I'm so grateful to you, Nikolett, for doing the Audible as well. Because as much as I like reading a book, like having a, you know, I like old school too. I want to have a book in my hands. I will admit that most of the time now I'm going to Audible because I'll do it when I'm driving or when I'm hiking or something like that. And it's like I listen to a book. So is it the lazy way out? I don't know. It's very convenient and I'm choosing it.
Yeah, I do the same. I do that too. I have to share it with you guys. It was just so fun. So we recorded it in December because the plan was just coming out with the audiobook in January. Yeah. So I remember it's Hungary, right? We have snow, but really rare recently. Like I don't even see big snow 10 years ago. And I'm like, I'm having this appointment at the studio, I don't know, 11 a.m. And I wake up on the morning, I look outside of my window, and you guys, you never saw that snow. It was like this tall. And my garage is just like this, and I don't have a heater. So I had to, it took me 2 hours to get the snow out of the way. It was just like, so, and I did not have this tool. So I had to call my cleaning lady. And she actually, on the way to me, stopped somewhere, got that thing.
The spade.
And then she came. Yeah, she came. I got the thing, and I was just like 2 hours, and I'm like, I don't know. And when I finally get to the studio, we did the recording, and I'm texting Simone. I'm like, Simone, you have to listen to this. I'm like, it never happened to me, but it worked out because the studio, it was like so close to Christmas. So they did not have another appointment until January. I'm like, I'm going today. I don't care. But it was so much fun. And I was like, I was wondering the whole time, I'm like, why am I doing all of this? Like, what is this? So I got to the studio, I started reading your book. And it's like, you know, when you have all those aha moments, because you are so present with the book when you are reading it.
Yes.
Especially this way when you have to record it and it has to be perfect. And so I'm like, Oh, now I know. So I'm texting Simon. I'm like, Simon, I know why I'm doing this because I'm getting so much out of this. It's just contributing to me so much. And I'm just understanding what I do, what I should change, and all of that above. It was amazing. It
That's
was
so cool. I love that story too. Because of course, when you were pinging me, it was so hot in Australia and you're telling me about all this snow.
It was funny. And also, before we wrap up, I would ask you. So you are coming to Hungary in less than 2 weeks, or no, 3 weeks? Sorry, I think it's 2 weeks
I was going
because
to
it's
say,
the 10th.
don't freak me out. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I was texting Simone and she's like, "Oh my God, Nikolett, I'm just realizing you have to leave home in like a week or so." And I'm like, "Yes, you do." So you're
I'm
coming to
going to,
Budapest.
I'll be arriving on the 8th of May into Budapest.
Awesome. And we start class on the 10th. So Simone is coming to Budapest. You are coming to Budapest, and you are having a business done different class, which is Üzlet Másképp in Hungarian. And it's going to be translated to Hungarian as well. You guys are all invited. It has no prerequisites. And I wanted to just ask you a little bit about this class. Like, so when I was writing a post about your class, it was interesting. I didn't tell you this. I wasn't saying anything about business particular. I was like, hey, you guys all invited if you want to change your money situation,
Yeah.
if you want to have an impact in the world, if you want to have a different conversation with your creations, and it's not just for people who has a business, it's for everyone, it's for all of us. And I really do see, because I took a bunch of classes with you, especially business and different classes, and it was not just about my business, it was all about my life. So can you say more? What is the class about? What people can expect, and how does that go?
Well, okay. So I can, yes and no, because
Okay.
here's the thing. It's 3 days. You get a manual. The manual is got a lot of information in it. Like that manual alone is just absolutely gold. And the class depends on who comes along as well, because we can talk about so many different things. We can talk about the pragmatic parts of business, of even looking at your finances and, I don't know, how do you get a loan with the bank, or how do you deal with this, etc., or how do you negotiate? How do you navigate something different? But it's also, like you said, it's not just for people who own a business. It's, as I say, if you wake up in the morning and you have blood running through your veins, maybe this is for you as well. Because how do you run your life? Like, what if you could be so vulnerable with yourself of what it is that you would like to choose and create? And I would like to invite all of those people who have a billion ideas and have gone into judgment that they're not actualizing those ideas to come and play. Come and figure out if some of those ideas that you've had for years and years and years, you could actualize them into revenue streams. What does that mean? That means more money coming into your life so that you get to choose and create whatever it is you desire. So it's definitely different, and we'll have fun. So come, if it makes you feel lighter, come, okay? And I'm going to say, trust your knowing, trust what you know. Don't trust me, don't trust Nikolett, trust what you know, okay? You know.
Yeah, thank you. It's gonna be fun. We are going to be hosting Simone and all of you guys. So if you have any question, you can just email us at hello at nikolett.com and with your questions, and we're gonna be just like, we are actually so excited because we never done something like this.
Yeah.
And as a class gets closer, we are like getting prepared, and now we are looking at hotels because many people come from abroad, to just helping them with different things. If you have any questions about the class or where you stay or what to do in Budapest, it's we are here for you. And also, it's just the best time of the year in Hungary because the spring is so beautiful, like the nature just like, getting to be alive, and flowers and smells, and Budapest is beautiful. It's just stunning right now, and it's not too hot. So come and play with us. And thank you, Simone, for joining us this morning, and can't wait to see you here.
Yay! Thank you so much. And I love that you said that this is something that you haven't done before, But what if that was business done different? What if you're always choosing something that you haven't done before so that you can choose something greater and something different and something more?
Thank you. We definitely do, because we had some things that we messed up, and I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Simone." I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing right now. And it was just like, but we gained so much awareness of
Yeah.
these mistakes.
Yeah.
And we had to step into some other kind of power with this and just hold everything together, because it's so many things that we have to think about. And, we have done this for myself, but everything we have done for my classes was not working with your class. And it was just like amazing to just getting
Be in
those.
question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's exciting. And thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Reka, for having us translated, and Chris for helping
Yes.
us in the background. Can I just put you guys back in the stage for the sec?
Thank
And
you,
just,
translators.
yeah,
Oh
I
my
put you
goodness.
guys back here if you wanna get your. Yeah, thank you so much. Hi.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful.
Thank you for all of you, and see you guys soon. So join us if it's live for you. Join us in May, and see your face here in Budapest. And have a wonderful day. Thank you, Simon. Have a good
Thank
evening.
you. I will. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Thanks for having me. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.